everyone, how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome back to another live-action TV show review. And you all know this one was coming, and it's finally here, and I finally finished watching it a little while ago, and that is, of course, my review of the live-action Season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's right, this is Season 2 of the live-action series. And I gotta say, really great show. I mean, sure, there are a few moments that I thought was kind of interesting that they kind of changed from the animated Season 2. Like, there were some moments where certain characters were missing from the ones that they were in the animated show. Like, for example, the Serpent's Pass. I mean, it wasn't really this isn't really a spoiler per se, because it was kind of in the trailer. But the character of Toph Beifong was supposed to be in the Serpent's Pass scene, and we never got her until the next episode of the show. So, slight spoiler there. But the thing is, like I said, Suki was there, which she kind of was, which makes sense. And there was also some, like I said, a lot of crazy things happened. But going back to Toph for a second, holy crap, she was perfect. The actress I forgot her name, but the actress that they have as Toph Beifong, since this is our first ever interpretation of her in live action, great casting. I mean, she really nailed the humor and the sarcasticness of Toph Beifong from the animated show. And I even hear that the girl who voices Toph in the original animated show even gave this girl her blessing after she actually witnessed some of the filming. I heard that she was actually on set with the new actress for Toph, and she witnessed everything being done by her, and she gave her blessing with how well this girl pulls off Toph Beifong. And I gotta admit, I feel like if we had ever gone through with the live-action sequel to the movie version of Avatar, oh boy, I would be very nervous to see who they would have gotten to play Toph in that version. Because from what I hear, it sounds like the girl that they would have chosen for Toph was either not gonna look like she did it at all in the animated version, with the hair, style, and everything like that. And I hear that they wouldn't have actually given her like the blind eye contacts that you would probably put on to make it actually look like she's blind. Because the thing is, when you look at how her eyes were in the animated show, you could actually see like they were like a black, like a grayed out version around her eyes or whatever. And I know that some people were comparing like to how Charlie Cox portrays Matt Murdock / Daredevil in the Daredevil show, because he's technically blind too, but he actually doesn't have like those blind eye contacts like they did with Toph. And with this show, they do that. And I gotta say, again, the girl who plays Toph, phenomenal. She really like brings out the inner Toph in her, like when it comes to portraying her in live action. Now, some of the other characters. Now, I know the one thing people were so nervous about was the fact that the guy who plays Aang, I forgot his name, but he is clearly a lot taller. His voice is way deeper because it's been a couple years since they filmed Season 1 and released it. Because I believe they released it back in 2024 in February. Go check out my review for that. But again, we were like, what, 2 years, almost 2.5 years later, and we get Season 2 of the show. I mean, clearly it's been at least 2 years in between when they filmed the show of Season 1 and when they start filming Season 2. And they did film Season 3 back-to-back with this. So I'm curious to see when that season's going to come out. And with the way that this show season ended, it really shows that they are trying to stick as much to the original ending of the source material for Season 2 as they could, which they did. Now, to be fair, there were a lot of things that were kind of cut from the season. I mean, some of the things that we did not get, as far as I'm aware, is I knew they were going to cut this episode because I hear they kind of already did that with Season 3 of the animated show, where they showed like the Ember Island players, where they say the Great Divide, and then they say, let's keep flying. Yeah, they basically skipped over that whole storyline. So that's no surprise that they skipped over that episode. Now, there are certain characters that, like I said, get introduced way earlier in the show, and to be fair, he technically was supposed to show up in Season 1, but we never got him. But he does show up in this season, and that is, of course, Zhong, who, as you know from the animated show, was Aang's first firebending teacher before Zuko. Now, I don't know what plans they have for him in Season 3, but I know that he's part of the secret society known as the White Lotus, which we do get a hint at in this season. but I feel like they're not going to reveal that until further into season 3. So prayers that the show actually does give season 3 a much more darker tone, because clearly it's season 3 is the big finale. Like, you have the Day of Black Sun when they try to take over the Fire Nation. Then you have the actual Sozin's Comet episodes, which I'm curious how many episodes they're going to have in season 3, because this season was only 7 episodes, whereas the first season was 8 episodes. My guess is they have to have at least 8 episodes in season 3. Maybe they can get up to 10, I don't know. I know that there's no way they're going to go past 10 episodes. Now, as to what they might cut from season 3, I mean, again, I know this is supposed to be in my review of season 2, but it makes me really excited for season 3. So I guess for now, let me just give you my rating of season 2. So for my rating of season 2, like I said, it was a great adaptation. It's the first ever adaptation we get in live action for Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I guarantee if they had ever gone through with the sequel to the movie version of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I guarantee you it would have been a flop. Especially with how they would have portrayed Toph in live action in the movies. I guarantee that they would have screwed up her character 100%. But when it comes to my review of this show, I'm going to give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. Yep, 4.5. I think I have it even higher than season 1. Now, the main reason I actually did rate this higher, even though they cut some stuff out or not included certain characters in certain parts of the show, the reason why I only gave it a 4.5 is because in season 1, like I said, I think I gave that a 4 out of 5. But with this show, I liked it way better because, like I said, Aang actually does do a lot of waterbending and earthbending, which, funny enough, season 1 was supposed to be focused on water, and he does do some waterbending in season 1, but just barely near the end of the show. And he was supposed to be doing waterbending throughout the show once Katara joined him on his trip, but unfortunately they didn't do that. Like, he barely does any waterbending in season 1 up until the finale when he does that whole thing with the water spirit. Like, that was the only time we ever see him waterbend. Now, as for some of the other characters in this show, again, we get the iconic characters like Judy in Ba Sing Se, Long Feng, the King. I mean, there was a lot of different characters that we got from this season that I think were really good. And I really love some of the moments that they did cover, like Zuko alone. That was a pretty good moment. Azula actually wanting her brother to come home, and it's just really great. So cannot wait for season 3. But for now, I will see all of you guys in the next video.